Ashanti baby I will share me free biana me kai was say on the 9th of January kusiada ya mebu wachina mosomfo made na moba munu am offer say okechire mawoda and until wish me well. Number is 0599429883 0599429883. Any wish that you want to wish me, my WhatsApp number. Happy birthday to you. It will be a very great thing to me. Many better hopa. Now, it was young. When him say Parliament House, when we are sitting, and na NDC4 Eco fans and be by and then people be so. I feel there once a week as I need doom the mic. I said, want to Parliament one now grow bonny and what I grow and what I neoma and one more Parliament to one say, we cassa near doom the mic, we cassa near doom the mic, we cassa near doom the mic. These are the people we voted for. Now listen. MP ba kuko team that time was Senator Rawlins. Rawlins baba pa yame fa currency. Epeja ni mo workers and obi tia no MP ba ko tia no sit down. Daughter of Medra, sit down, daughter of Medra. I know. And Anlo chiefs. I wanna for him for no. I sorry just woman tiasie. Woman tiasie if sense onipa wa kansa no woman nyine mra. Ghana on ye hypocrite to extend say adeɛ no wayo but okoka de be yawo no enti nipa ne kan ye no e na omo say nipa o kan sa no wanka ne yie wonfa ne mra ne musa ne bebia JJ kokum nipa eno na black rasta tin was what ehene ha ne nipa o kan no kra we very coward. Nipa MP na wakan black Rasta say, "Oh, you're very coward." It sounds say, "Okwa una memu a enkura bre empenifo bre eduma ni ho omakwan nye eno na nka wo sa ahemfo no mo sori gina na nka mo fra mampani say yenso ye to aba ma wonte mo hwe na mo nye enye de wakofro obi so obi papa ye Medra." Now the question I will say, the MP who said that, was he right or he was wrong? And the black Rasta just said, it is true because in the time of JJ Rawlings, JJ Rawlings, Dinya one shall walk sign ma. So being crofo, I say him, what the ababu musa, kunkum crofo, you see. Black Rasta say, I then a Ghana for one pen and cressa. Why ye answer one yet? Yes, why ye, Black Rasta, why ye, into identity, mamma, miniabre, and the daughter of Medra, and fish that person out. And I say, no, there's a nippon crowd you who for, no, kaya, who appear into Black Rastambra.
Why are Anlo chiefs interested in this matter? There's a lot of unemployment in Anlo. There's a lot of flooding in Anlo. They have a lot of problems in the area, yet they are interested in this matter. Let's ask ourselves, why are they interested in this matter? It's so clear. You know it and I know it. Rawlings was an Ewe man. That probably is the reason the Anlo chiefs are very interested in knowing the identity of this person who has meted out this disparaging remark. In their own words, let us look at this thing clearly. Rawlings was an Ewe man and a Scottish man. We are expecting that the Scottish people would also come out and say that they are interested in knowing the identity of this lawmaker who uttered those disparaging remarks. Can I now tackle this issue? The person who called Zenator the daughter of a murderer, was he right or wrong? My brother, my sister, in the days of Rawlins, we suffered terror. Those of you who were not yet born in 1979, we saw horror in this country. People were abducted and killed summarily. We saw judges abducted and set ablaze. My brother, my sister, the mystery of which, my brother, my sister, is still pending in the clouds. Rawlins denied involvement, yet it happened in his regime. In the regime of Rawlins, we saw women in Kajatia market stripped naked and whipped in their vaginas. We saw people abducted and taken to the Gonda barracks and some other such barracks and shaved with blunt instruments and blades. We saw, my brother, my sister, people who were carried away and beaten, most of whom we were told were dead, and carried all the way to the morgue at 37. One of them finally survived. He went on to move into exile and later came back into this country to become a minister of energy. Do we all remember this person? It was all in the days of Rawlins. Can we run away from the heinous crimes of Rawlins in his regime from 1979? The several murders and bloodshed. And even at the time, Ghanaians were asking Rawlins to let more blood flow. How do you let blood flow when you don't murder people? Rawlins was a murderer. It's the truth. What are you running away from? So when people die, when murderers die, they all of a sudden become saints? Is that what you are saying? Because we live in a country where Atayi all of a sudden will become Saint Atayi because he's dead. Say no bad thing about the dead. That is your motto. Until we start to shame the dead, like they did in Belgium when Leopold II died and they threw his dead body right in the middle of the street for people to hoot at and spit at. My brother, my sister, crime and foolishness will never ever stop in this country. Rawlins was a murderer, my brother. When the elections came, listen attentively and listen, people were killed in the reign of Nana Akufo-Addo. What did we say? That Nana Akufo-Addo murdered some people during the elections. Mahama says when he comes into power, he would institute an investigation into it, and he started already. My brother, my sister, who do we say killed the people? They said Nana Akufo-Addo did because it was his regime. Rawlins was a soldier who went into a bloody coup d'etat. Bloody coup d'etat, shot and killed many in order to gain power. Should we give him a bouquet of flowers for the coup d'etat that saw the lives of many go down the drain? Was he a saint? Was Rawlins a prophet? Have we so soon forgotten our history? The bloodiest coup d'etat that ever happened in this nation was instituted by Rawlins. He killed many in order to become leader of this nation. Is that not a murderer? So I am wondering why there's so much noise, and the coward MP who also mentioned it and cannot own up and come out and say, hey, I said it and these are my reasons for saying that. That is the most cowardly, more cowardly than Baumia. If I had the opportunity to stand before these chiefs, I will honorably ask them to tell me how you would define or call a man who murdered many in order to become leader, in whose regime innocent judges were carried out, including a woman, killed and set ablaze at Bondas, and say, why can't we speak the truth anymore? What is wrong with us? Zenato is the daughter of a murderer. That is correct. But does that make her a murderess? No. She cannot inherit the crimes of her father. Do we understand that? But that does not mean she is not a daughter of a murderer. She is. Let us call a spade a spade. Should we call Zenato the daughter of a pastor or the daughter of a reverend or the daughter of a saint? No. We saw the bloodiest violence in this country in the reign of Rawlins. Many people went down the drain. In my days as a little boy, anytime Rawlins' name was mentioned, we all ran under the bed. I was only 5 at the time Rawlins took over power in 1979. My brother, my sister, we have seen so much bloodshed in this country, all in the days of Rawlins. And today, if his children are being described as the children of a murderer, and we are crying, Anlo chiefs are all coming out, they want to know that these are disparaging remarks. What is disparaging about a murderer whose children are called the daughters and sons of murderers? Do you think that they would ever call the daughter or the sons of Kwame Nkrumah sons and a daughter of murderer? A murderer? Will they ever say that? No, because Nkrumah murdered nobody. In the days of Kwame Nkrumah, there was nothing like capital punishment ever endorsed by Kwame Nkrumah. They rather attempted to kill him several times But even with that, he was still very tactful and level-headed. He never ordered the pulling of a trigger. In the days of Rawlins, the gun was the master. Soldiers were gods and demigods. When we saw soldiers on the streets, we ran. Some of you are so young, you do not understand what it was in 1979 and all the way after 79. We saw blood. I saw blood. I saw people shaved and beaten to pulp. You dared not say anything against Rawlins. Yes, thankfully, Rawlins also paved the way for democracy. But that does not erase the fact that he was a murderer. You have empty heads as leaders. When you have people with no common sense who are supposed to be leaders, this is what you get. May I repeat it? When you have people with no common sense, you have people with no common sense of patriotism as leaders, this is what you get. First and foremost, what did Frank Anlo Dompré, dishonorable Frank Anlo Dompré, say? In a tape that is in wild circulation, dishonorable Frank Anlo Dompré said, and I quote, "Anywhere you see an NDC person and an NPP person fighting, join hands with the NPP person to beat up the NDC person." Is this common sense? Granted, there is violence. Some foot soldiers of the NDC are misbehaving, which has widely been condemned. But if a leader has common sense, he won't go up and say, retaliate. When they attack you, retaliate. You know what he will say? He will first and foremost condemn whatever violence it is and would ask for peace and unity. Rather than saying, when you go out there and see an NDC person and an NPP person fighting, join hands with the NPP person to beat up the NDC person. Are they not both Ghanaians? The laws that you make in parliament, dishonorable Frank Anlo Dompré, are they for only NPP people or NDC people are included? Now the people who voted you into power, it is possible that a lot of them voted skirt and blouse. Don't take it for granted that your presence in parliament is 100% partisan. In other words, it's only people of your party that voted for you. There are some people who don't belong to your party that just like you and believe that you will be a better NP rather than their party's representative. But that common sense is not there. Yet these are the people who are supposed to be the leaders of the people. These are the people who commanded the youth to move out and be violent. And this happens. Today, Anlo Dompré, he looks heavy and well fed. A lot of the youth in his constituency are suffering from Koshoko. Go to Nsawam Adwojiri. There are a lot of people who are utterly hungry. They even look worse than refugees from some parts of Africa whose names I don't want to mention. You are well fed. You can afford to go out and incite hungry boys and girls to get out there and fight. It hurts me. I thought Anlo Dompré himself would say that he will go out on the street and fight the NDC people. Why don't you bring your family out? You and your family come and join hands and fight. People like Anlo Dompré, dishonorable, and Ahiagba, ask them if they know the last time they had a mosquito bite. Can I ask again? When was the last time dishonorable Frank Anlo Dompré had a mosquito bite? Yet the youth of Nsawam Adwojiri, the music they hear every day is the music of the mosquito running around their ears, all over the place. What point is Black Rasta trying to make? These are bourgeoisies who have enough money to feed themselves and their families. And if anything goes wrong, they will be the first to jump on the plane and leave you to your own destiny. It hurts, my brother. When I heard that comment, and he's supposed to be called an honorable, I shiver. The people of Nsawam Aduajiri by now are so disappointed in this guy called Frank Anodompre. He was one of those who broke the tables in parliament. One of those who broke microphones in parliament. If I had my own way, this guy should be sent back to the gutters where he belongs. These are gutter boys. They are not MPs. They are gutter boys. No wonder one MP came out and said he is a gutter boy from Ashanti. Do you remember that MP? He said in Ghana, later on he came and apologized that he had called himself a gutter boy. The real gutter boy is this honorable Frank Anodompre. If you can go to the parliament house and break the legs of tables, muntutu, munyiyi, and you are supposed to be called an honorable, you should be bowing down your head in shame. And by now, you should go down on your knees with tears coming out of your eyes like the river Mississippi and crying to Ghanaians, especially to the people of Nsawam Aduajiri, begging them for disrupting and disrespecting their integrity. It's a shame. And this is a miscommunicator called Richard Hyangba, who nobody respects in Ghana because he's another person with no common sense of patriotism. He also comes out to say, yeah, you know, what he said, he didn't mean any harm. It's because of the violent nature of the NDC attacking our members. He's only telling them that they should just come together and beat the NDC people. I think it's okay. What is okay? Do you want a national war? Do you want a civil war? It's condemnable. The acts of some of these foot soldiers of the NDC moving from place to place, removing CEOs and trying to be violent in so many places. We have condemned that time and again. My brother, my sister, what else should we do? You are getting your members to come together and beat NDC people. And you are in the minority, micro minority. You are like a drop in the ocean. You have lost all integrity in Ghanaian politics with your arrogance, corruption, wanton corruption, and disrespect for the Ghanaian people. Nobody respects your party anymore. It will take you another 6 trillion years to gather again and make any meaning in this country. You're not thinking about that. We gave you the opportunity to lead us, and you led us into the gutters. Your own vice president told us that he was only a puppet on a string. He was only a mate, following the orders of a dictator called Nana Akufo-Addo. What else can you tell us? What else can you tell us? I leave it here. Please don't listen to people who have no common sense of patriotism. Don't listen to empty heads. The youth are hungry. They need food to eat. They need education. They need to be taught patriotism.
Abusuya, yakotie ediaba, wotie the party na yura another impression koka say this man koka say NPP ni bi twom no hu say NDC ni bi ni NPP ni ko a NPP no ma onko stop into kwa no wonko ka ho na yemmo NDC no. This is very bad. Say me maka trust me politician. Me no any political party. We na nya de me ye wo. This speech that he made was a very terrible speech. Time. How? Ghana had the equals to cry into me in Swa. What's our common authority? Mahama Beka say, and this no be say, NPP sticker at tally, another dripper on. Mon wine, maybe Jina Catcher and Mahama say, Yera, Papa, what am I penida? This assembly kind you shouldn't have come in from you. Can you send free no more back? Come on, go and be inca, then Cabetiano, maybe Cassim. Hey, you run out on bread. Why upon you? As somehow can, it is a very terrible. Do NDC for attacking people, but Okas almost won't attack you. You are bringing chaos, violence. It's a very bad speech. A very bad and terrible, very horrible at time. Now, me have him say MPC ne to abama mo aya o ko duru suru na o mo refio mo say te senyo obi ho to abama ne pa yanse nipa wakasa nkrofoti ahemfutie ne kasa wo mo tie na futu sem nti o mo to abama o ko duru parliament wa sabi na ebi mo jimi Woman could do parliament to Sabine be more demio. This statement is a very bad statement. And this is so. And this is so. I was your person watch our subscribe to YouTube channel.